Man, so it's been a minute, bro. It's about time for us to get in here, do this podcast.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Man, we got a few topics to talk about today, but not too many. We mostly just want to blurt out, talk about some new shit we've been into lately, talk about some old shit we've been fucking with. Like, we could talk about a variety of topics, man. Go ahead.
Shoot, it don't even matter. The new Hunt is coming out, season 3, man. Y'all already know what time it is, so you ain't gotta say nothing about that.
Man, I heard that they did get back to doing the manga and stuff like that, or that at least that Tagashi is back to work, because he be on hiatus because his health be bad sometimes.
Yeah, man. Well, I hope he make it through though. Prayers out to him, for real.
That's some real shit. I know there's what's it called? There's Bleach is coming back in October. And Bleach coming back is probably what I'm most excited about right now, to be honest with you, when it comes to stuff.
I've been waiting for this shit for a long time, man. Listen, Bleach is that show, man. I understand how people feel like when you first get into Bleach, that's that first area of dryness. But then once you get past that and you start getting like you want to say like the 4th or the 5th arc of Bleach is really gonna start picking up. Like when he finally gets his Zanpakuto and he finally starts to really understand what he's actually starting to do. Like, why is he a substitute soldier for all that good stuff?
Yeah, to me, it's like when I first watched it, I was like 13 or 12 or so. So I was into it heavy. But when I was watching it, it was just fire for me from the beginning. But the first episodes I saw were during the Soul Society arc. And then I went back and watched the beginning episodes. And I'll be honest, like going back to try to rewatch it now, I can't really do all the beginning episodes, or at least no one else can, right? But yeah, but as soon as it hits that Soul Society arc, that's where things really kick off, especially, and it's just fire from then.
Man, on God, like especially like okay, you remember when they first got into the Soul Society because they had to go Yoruichi had to open up that portal so that they can go through the realms, but they was if they didn't make it in time, they was gonna be stuck there,
Yeah.
And then they got into the Soul Society, and then it really started picking up, because then we really started to understand who Renji was. I think that was really when the show started picking up. We started learning who Renji was, and then they finally introduced Kenpachi.
No, that's some real stuff right there. I remember, what's it called? I remember Byakuya, Renji. It was crazy how the character arcs went. I think just like watching just the power level of Ichigo steadily rise and how he was able to do things like so quick. But there's reasons behind it though. But there were some moments where the fillers were getting out of hand with Bleach. I remember there's a period in time, maybe around 2008, somewhere around there, where it's like 95 episodes straight of bullshit. And it's like, yes, it was good, but it wasn't something I really felt like watching. You feel me? It was just like, I'm ready to get back to fighting Aizen. Let's get back to fighting Aizen. Let's go back to the fake Karakura town.
Man, fillers is the worst thing. It's probably the only bad thing about watching anime. You know what I'm saying? You get a good ass show, and then out of nowhere, you know what I'm saying? The production is delayed. They can't do the animations. The animation schedule's all messed up. Now they got delayed, and now you're sitting there like, oh man. So they're gonna make this filler. We're gonna have to sit there like we had to do for Naruto, But I'm so glad that they got out of the fillers for Bleach, because as soon as they got out, bro, they came with some heat. Because that Byakuya Kuchiki, Senbon Sakura, Kageyoshi. You know what I'm saying?
Scatter.
That man was going crazy. He dropped that sword, boy. It was over.
Yeah, that shit was over with. And then I remember, what else I remember, man? There was I was just ready for them to get back to Karakura town. I really was. The Bankai moment, like anytime you hear Bankai, it's instant chills. But all the cap about the fillers and stuff, this shit is about to go all the way out the window. Like, all that cap is about to be shut down. Because when you really think about it, man, this 1,000-Year Blood War arc is probably the best, if not one of the best arcs, like in Bleach, hands down. So all the cap that people talking about, like I know a lot of people didn't enjoy the Fullbring arc. I'm not gonna lie to you, I get the significance of it. Ichigo getting actual character development, but I didn't enjoy it as much either. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, when I watch Star Wars, I want to see niggas fight with lightsabers. When I watch Bleach, I want to see niggas fight with swords. And I'm just being
Fact.
honest. So when he's sitting there with a badge on, it looked like a little swastika he fighting with. You know,
It was so feeling, bro. That shit, bro. It looks so. Listen, it looks so ass, bro. I'm gonna be real, bro. It was like they had so much build up from the previous arc, and then when they went to this arc, it's like they completely got rid of their momentum. We was all into it, but then when they came into like the Dirty Boots arc, it started to get a little bit foggy, like a little confusing. You know what I'm saying? As to like, why is Ichigo going through this arc? You know what I'm saying? And I get it. Toward the end, they kind of encapsulate why Ichigo's going through it. You know how his powers are evolving, but essentially, you know, I think when you look at like the full development of Ichigo, we kind of expected something different coming into that arc. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I would think we did, but it was also like after he lost his abilities when he did, you know, Mugetsu and Final Getsuga Tensho, you know, that Don guy Ichigo. It was just like, yeah, I get it. That was the ability he had. But you know what? There's a little foreshadowing that even goes back to the Quincy. Because if you think about like when Uryu fought Mayuri and he used that final technique of the Quincy to give all his powers up for a last moment attack, it kind of reminds me of like Adult Gon, but it also reminds me of like you're giving up all your power for one final ability. I wonder if that was something that was just in the Ishiba clan. I mean, in the Shiba clan the whole time, like with Ishin and all them, or if that was just a technique that he kind of learned and took away from the Quincy's because he was married to Ichigo's mother, was a Quincy.
Yeah, and that's the crazy part, because then we found that out when that Hollow came in attack, and then the Hollow was like, "Yo, I'm your mother," and like he kind of like fooled Ichigo to try to trick him and eat him.
That shit was yeah, that's wild shit right there. Like there's Ai in Shiba who was he was taken over by Hollow who ate his head. Hollows are crazy, you know what I mean, when it comes to like the whole grand scheme of Bleach. It did seem like the further Bleach went along, the more it became less about destroying the Hollows to keep them from, you know, hurting humans, to more about being friends with Hollows and dealing with the Arankar and all that other stuff. And it kind of different from that point where it's like the focus shifted to where it's like when Ichigo and Uryu would be out destroying Hollows, it was just like you know what I mean? It's like it no longer mattered if it was a Shinigami or if it was a Quincy who was taking them out, although it was different things when they destroyed them.
Well, to be honest with you, I think that was due to the fact that they found out that there was somebody behind the scenes creating these Hollows to open the portals to come into the human realm. I think like that's what started that type of transition in the show. Them just like foreshadowing that there was a greater threat than the Hollows. And so that's like where I feel like, you know, the show refocused. It refocused on more so trying to see like who is really the threat here? Is it the Hollows? Or is somebody inside of this society causing something to happen? And you know, as we watch Bleach, we understand like most of the times it is a lot of betrayal going on behind the scenes in their close quarters of people who they think has their back.
Yeah, and then also you look at it and it's like the people who are really in control in Bleach were the royal families, the noble clans, right? And a lot of it was about politics. Like it reminds me of Star Wars again, right? It reminds me of Star Wars how the Jedi were just following the Republic, right? And they weren't really in tune with the Force anymore. They weren't in tune with, you know, their universe's version of what God is, right? And then it's the same thing with the Soul Society. Like they weren't worried about, you know, the Soul King. They were more concerned with the noble clans, right? Because the noble clans were the ones who were in control, and that's what Aizen was really seeking to fight. Like if you think about it, it's like Aizen and Urahara, like the the way you compare their mindsets or the way they should deal with life is completely different. You know?
Yeah, for real. I mean, shoot, Eisen looked more at the world as in it's only me. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to dominate everything. I'm going to change fate. You know, Udio, his life was confined by his fate. He felt like his fate was always restricted, like he was destined to not reach where he wanted to reach.
Or I'm
So,
talking about Urahara.
you said what?
I'm talking about Urahara.
Oh, I said, oh no, okay, yeah. When it comes to Urahara, I feel like, yo, he's like the definition of like persistence, though, for real, for real.
He is, and you know what? Another thing about like Sosuke Aizen's mindset versus Kisuke Urahara is that like when it came to Kisuke Urahara, he looks like a rebel, but really he was like that spy who was underneath the scenes, who was trying to make sure that nobody, like trying to make sure that no one overthrew the system. He was like, you know what, the system is here for a reason. This system is in place, so I'll do espionage on part of the system, even if the system betrays me, because he felt like the Soul King, the royal, the noble families, that all those things were the way that they were supposed to be, and he didn't want to uproot the system. But then you look at like Yhwach, and then you look at Aizen, and it's like, yes, Aizen was a malignant narcissist, right? Who like only cared about himself, but you got to think that he wanted to overthrow the system of the Soul King because he saw how restricted the Soul King was. It's a similar thing with Yhwach, right? How Yhwach, his goal was to get rid of death. His goal was to make death no longer exist. But he understood that there's going to be collateral damage. But every single person, there's a collateral damage worth what they're willing to go through, what their goal is. And sometimes that collateral damage includes the lives of other people. But it's only when somebody has a different goal than us that we view them as evil.
True. I mean, because right and wrong is subjective. And it's also subjective to the circumstance. I think, more people should think like that. That, in certain situations in life, the right thing will not be the apparent right thing for that situation. You know, sometimes a good thing can be a negative thing or an enabling thing in certain circumstances. You know what I'm saying? So you have to look at it more so in terms of, is it giving value or is it taking away value? That's a better way to look at it, because you're looking at the situation more so as in a problem solver, you know?
Yeah, like Soul Society and Soul Society, Kisuke Urahara, Ichigo was more worried about his own people, but really everybody was fighting for the right to die, right? When you think about why everyone was trying to go against Yhwach, it's because they were fighting for their right to live and their right to die, right, on their own terms. There's a lot of pride involved in that, but it's like, it is what it is. But Yhwach, he was more afraid of death than anyone else, even though he was a nigh omniscient being who was damn near immortal, but yet he had one of the greatest fears of death. Same thing with Sosuke Aizen, but he actually did become pretty much immortal. But it's like, a lot of these individuals have the fear of death, and it pushes them towards it. Like Voldemort. Right? The motherfucker had 7 Horcruxes, didn't live to see 70 years old. And then you have Dumbledore, no Horcruxes, and he lives to be like 120.
No, that's actually.
It reminds me of that Bible scripture: "He who seeks to save his life shall lose it."
Yeah, because there's really no saving yourself. It's only improvement. I feel like when we get to that place in ourselves where we can realize that things will be better. Yeah, it's not about perfection. It's about improvement.
What you think of Hell Arc?
What did I think about what?
This Hell Arc in Bleach right now. Type Kubo's right now.
Okay, so what is Hell Arc? I really want to know where they're gonna go with the story so far. I'm not. Can you tell me something about this arc? Because so far I haven't heard too much about it.
Hold on, let me go on mute for a few seconds. I'll be right back. I'm still on the phone.
Okay, I got you, buddy.
So the Hell arc has Kazui Kudasaki, right? And
Yeah.
Kazui is the son of Ichigo and Orihime, but although he's the son of Ichigo and Orihime, it's like he has all of their abilities. He has no one gave him an Asauchi, but he can turn into a soul reaper form without leaving his physical body, so he can do it at will. And he has the ability to unlock and open up gates to hell. He just be chilling in hell and shit like that. But
Oh,
but you also got to keep in mind the final threat that Yuabot gave to Ichigo, which is that if you are able to strike me down, then I will come back with a vengeance and I'll come after everybody who you know and love. So it's like the show of like the Hell arc kind of starts with Kazui Ichiha touching the vestige of Yuabak and then absorbing all of his powers. So it's like there's this looming fear that Yuabak might try to come back through Kazui.
right. Yeah, ain't nothing more scary than the unexpected. And when time fucks with you, because in that situation, that's what it is. It's only a matter of time, but he doesn't know when and where. So he has to always be on the defensive.
Yeah, you always gotta be able to, and it's like Kazui, he's like more naturally talented than like anyone in Bleach history, so he's kind of overpowered as fuck. You know what I mean? But there's some other characters who are brought up who are pretty dope too, and I'm, it would have been dope too if Aizen was the final boss, but it's still cool. It's like if this Now Year Blood Work arc didn't come up, then I would have been happy with just ending Bleach at right after the Fate Card of Kuta Town arc, where where Ichigo loses his powers after going Dangai and using Moegetsu. It's like I would think that would be a great ending, but since the creation of this Thousand Year Blood War arc, I'm happy that it continued, and because the Thousand Year Blood War arc and the Hell arc, because another aspect of the Hell arc is this right here. They do a ritual. They do this ritual for all of the captains. If someone with a very high level of spiritual pressure dies, who's in the Soul Society, then they have to pretty much send their soul to hell, because Soul Society can't handle that much spiritual pressure being there at one time. It kind of gets absorbed back. And since they have too much spiritual pressure, they have to be sent to hell. So it's like all the captains and stuff who died are in hell right now.
Yeah, that's crazy. And that's tough. Because a lot of them motherfuckers were down.
Exactly. So that means that like there's characters who are in hell right now, like Zaya Laporo. He's in hell because that motherfucker was crazy when he was alive, and he was crazy at the Hollow as a wrong card, right? But then you also have like certain captains who passed away who are in hell right now, and I think that's brings a very interesting aspect to the conversation. Like, what if like Yamamoto's in hell and Ukitake and all these different figures and characters? Like, what if all of them they're in hell, and it'll be dope if they got any extra powers there, if there's conflict there, like there's a power system there where things is different. Because remember that the Hellverse movie, that shit was fire.
Right. I mean, honestly, I'm gonna be real with you. With everything that they got in the Hell arc and stuff like that, what I'm really excited about is Kenpachi's development as a character, bro.
Oh yeah.
I am fucking ready, bro. Like I done seen the sketches of the new Kenpachi, bro. That's beautiful, bro.
I want to see if they make him sound like a wild beast, like in his fights. Like, cause does he fight? I think he fights Gerard. I think he fights Gerard, and he fights that's Valkyrie Gerard, whatever it is. But he takes out the most Stern Riders out of everybody, like in the Gote 13, and then it's like he's doing it with like little difficulty, and he's fighting people who should be damn near impossible to beat. And that's what I love about the power system of Bleach, right? Like, yes, there's moments where certain powers are blocked out by how powerful somebody is, but there's always a counter to something. No one is invincible in Bleach.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying like earlier when we was on the phone. I was saying like Yeah, like when it comes to Bleach, everything is broken, but it's not. Like there's always a counter. There's definitely always a counter for everything.
Like, one of my favorite moments was when Gin Ichimaru touched Aizen's blade, and then he hit him with his Bankai, and then he really pretty much killed Aizen, but the Hogyoku saved him and caused him to evolve. But really, Gin, he waited around like a snake in the grass for his opportunity to strike, because he always had something against Aizen for how he was moving during the back in the pendulum arc, or turn back the pendulum. The story of how the visors were created. It's like Gin had issues with him over that shit with, I believe it was Rangiku. So ever since then, he decided he wanted to kill him. So he waited like over 100 years by this man's side in the shadows, taking people out, joining, going to Hueco Mundo, betraying the Soul Society, letting people distrust him just for the opportunity to strike. Now that's some Count of Monte Cristo type shit.
Bro, that is some dedication. Devotion, bro. You gotta give up, bro. And bro, he's a character to get to fucking flourish. Like his character development could have been way more fleshed out, and we could have got some solid storytelling later on. But I'm sure we're gonna still get some solid storytelling later on, and they're gonna find a way to tie back something Jin did in the new arc with Mama. We're gonna figure out something. I'm telling you, they're gonna figure out something. I promise. But I feel like Jin is an underrated character, and his Bankai's ability to stretch is very underrated. As far as like, the OP abilities, that is a very OP ability because he was slashing in half buildings. No cap.
Sure.
He was extending his sword for miles. I don't care what no one say. That's very OP, because if he really had like a different fighting style, right? Say he had a fighting style like samurais, they do more so, their strikes are more so like pokes, right? He'd be able to extend things like that, and honestly, if he did fight like a samurai, he would poke hella holes in them because his blade can extend any length.
No, you at all. I think that Gin Ichimaru is a very underrated character. Very underrated.
Yeah, I feel like, they wrote him out a little soon, but it's okay. Like, I'm okay with how Jin died. I feel like even though Jin died, they gave him a proper death to where I'm not upset that he's not here. On some real shit, I feel like they gave him a proper enough death in the show to write him out. And like, I can't be mad about it because it was a solid write out of the show. And him dying was impactful in the show. So, shout out to them for sticking to their guns and doing what they do.
Yeah, I think it all went handy. I think it all went part and parcel to each other. I think the deaths that take place without the war arc take off a lot of that plot armor feeling. Stuff for Ichigo, because Ichigo is Ichigo. But outside of that, it's like, this shit's about to go crazy. It's about to go crazy. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not super into Boruto, but I have been into just thinking about like the way everything has been drawn together and pushed together to really hit enough points to really make it worth like Enochian mythology, like breakdown. Like, Kage is the fallen angel, not the fallen angel, but she's the watcher who came to Earth, had sex with the humans, mated, then created superhumans. You know what I mean? And to me, I think that's a powerful thing when you really think about it. And like, the watchers, they taught things to mankind. So you got like Armoros, who one of the watchers who taught enchantment, magic. Yeah. And you got Azazel, who taught weapons and warcraft. And it's like, when you break all that shit down, it's like this. But then I love the way they connected demons to aliens, right? Because most people don't connect demons to aliens. Aliens are typically sci-fi, whereas demons are typically supernatural or fantasy, right? So when you're able to take bridge the gap between sci-fi and supernatural, that's where I think things become more Enochian, right? You got, the tailed beasts. The tailed beasts are like demons and stuff like that, or chimeras. And then from the chimeras, they get sealed and all this other stuff. It's like bringing like the witchcraft circles. It's a whole bunch of dope shit.
Oh God. Shoot, that kind of reminds me of what was it called? Children of the Crop?
You talking about Children of the Corn?
Children of the Corn. That's it. That's what I was trying to say. Anyway, but you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. I ain't gonna get it.
I used to love Children of the Corn, man.
I ain't gonna get it. That's crazy as hell.
I used to love Children of the Corn. You had Isaac up there, his crazy ass. Man, hey, all I know is this right here, man. Full Metal Alchemist went hard too. One thing I will say is I like how like they bring in different elements of different religions. It's like because Christianity isn't a primary religion in Japan, when they're breaking down Christianity, they typically take more niche views of it. Like the Christ-like figure in Rurouni Kenshin had nothing to do with actual Christianity. Or when you look at Full Metal Alchemist, right, and it's kind of set in Germany around the Second World War and the First and Second World War in an alternate universe, then it's like it makes sense. When you think about like the Nazi, I remember reading or hearing something about like them doing some type of experiments and the sci-fi and the science they were doing, technology bridging the gap into speaking to interdimensional beings and having to use occult practices to kind of close up or to attempt to close up some of them gateways that they opened up. And it's like some people don't think it's real, but I look at this, I'm like, man, I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised at all, because as below, so above, and that's some real shit. You know. But I'm thinking, like, for real, I feel when it comes to like things like that, I believe that there's a lot of things in the world that's hidden, and it's really just okay. I wouldn't be surprised, because you know what I'm saying, you hear a lot of things, man. You'd be surprised that things aren't what they seem in plain sight, bro. Even when you go to the hospitals and people get put in their cars, I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? It's all a game, bro. And you have to understand that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think it is something to be understood. And like, I got a certain perspective that I take on it. Like, I think about treating most of this shit like it's just fun and entertainment and mythology. But at the end of the day, I also like to take a step back and say, I am a man who does believe in God. So let me look at the history and what the Bible has to say about these things. And then I'll go into that and go into the book of Enoch and do some word studies and some different things. And then you see like the B'nai Ha Elohim, the Watchers, and then the sons of God, were with the sons of with the daughters of man. And then you go into like in the book of Enoch, and then you see how the Watchers and the humans created the Nephilim, the giants, the fallen ones, right? And the chimeras sent against birds of the field and I mean birds of the air and beasts of the field, and created these supernatural beings, or these chimeras. Like we're talking about Full Metal Alchemist, right? And through this genetic splicing, creating chimeras, which would be like dragons, or which also be like dinosaurs.
Yeah,
and like to me,
or dragon type.
Exactly. So it's like, to me, I look at that stuff and say, man, I think it's real, but even if it wasn't real, the shit is still entertaining to think about. It's still fun to talk about. So like I like to think about that stuff, like the book of Enoch type of shit. Like, as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be in the coming of the Son of Man. So it's like, as I see technology progressing, like to the pure, all things are pure, and to the defiled, all things are defiled. But at the same time, I do look at it and say, if we're making exponential growths in technology and science out of nowhere, then is it possible that something influenced us? Because I don't believe humans just got so much smarter than we used to be, there are things that we used to know that we don't know now. Like people still don't know how the pyramids were built or how
Yeah.
Stonehenge was put together. But we're so much smarter than the past. I don't think so. I think there's certain information we get exposed to for different reasons.
Yeah, like for me, right? I learned about the quantity energy and stuff like that, right? Anunnaki and stuff like that. We was talking about like celestial beings and stuff like that, right? And they was talking about they was talking about how they found the pyramid inside of the Bermuda Triangle and stuff like that. And pyramids are like, they're beacons, they're energy beacons, but like the real spill about it is that like essentially there is a theory. I'm not gonna say that this fact, but it's a theory that basically there were what we consider aliens, right? I would consider them either celestial beings or unknown entities, right? That's from a different world or from a different realm, whatever the case may be. They came and they helped humanity build these beacons, these energy beacons, right? That allows the basically that stabilizes and foundationalizes the earth, so it keeps everything on this earth from falling apart. The pyramids are set there for those reasons. And when you put like, if you go back to an archaeologist or something like that, you'll actually learn that what they've discovered is that by the measurements of an actual pyramid, you'll be able to, when you put at a certain longitude and latitude on a map, you'll learn that it's the same as a cube, which then makes a flower of life, which then you're just going to realize that everything just goes back to one specific thing. Everything is repetition. For real. Everything we do in life is repetition. Why do you think we work hard? Why do you think we do the things we do? Why we're trying to get better is because we're repeating it again and again. For what purpose? I think that's the purpose of life.
And you know what? And I would look at that situation. I think that those celestial beings, I take those celestial beings and I take it in mind and I say those are angels, right? It's like those are and the thing about it, any primitive people seeing any being that's elevated above them, whether they're strength wise, intellect wise, or having the ability to manipulate nature in a way they couldn't, is going to view that individual with that type of power as a god, even if they aren't God himself. They'll view him as a god unless they have a frame of reference of a creator that's overall. And that's one reason why I like to talk about this stuff, right? Because through conversations we can say, well, right now the government is releasing things, preparing a space force, preparing all different types of, the world is being prepped for aliens to be exposed to people. The world is being prepped for this conversation to be had. And I believe that the preparation is to separate the idea of aliens from any type of biblical narrative, so that whatever doctrine that they preach and come to us with is going to be something we're unprepared for. So through us being unprepared, it can be fallen angels instead of it being good angels. And because we don't know, they can say, hey, listen, we are the ones who really created you. We mixed you with monkeys and we're the ones who created you. So you need to listen to whatever our doctrine or belief system is. And by doing that, you'll be elevated, you'll be saved, or we'll give you this information. And through this information, you can transcend being a human being. You can become a chimera, or you can have these supernatural abilities, or you can get your pineal gland open up and reach a higher state of consciousness where you have an ability to tap into supernatural abilities and skills to powers, right? Or you can try to unlock immortality, or you can transfer your brain into technology, and transfer your consciousness, or we can come into your body and take over your body in moments where you need to act and be possessed by a demon, right? So all these different things are coming up. And you think about the homunculi, right? It's like AI is getting crazy right now. Like I think Stephen Hawking and Elon Musk, they both warned about how crazy this AI is getting. We all seen Skynet. We all saw what happened on Terminator.
Yeah. And see, here's the thing too, because the theory, you know what I'm saying, the case is out, right? That supposedly the theory of the technology invisible inside of the earth, right? It was saying that the inside of the earth was hollow, but what was inside of the earth wasn't what people expected. Was it not lava? It was none of those things. They were saying that that technology, living technology, is inside of the middle of the earth. The advanced civilization technologies, trillions of years ahead of our civilization, 100%. They do not come to the surface because we're so far behind or whatever in technology, right? But they are supposedly dwell in the middle of the earth. Now I am gonna take this moment to say that, you know what I'm saying, I am a Christian man and shit like that. I believe in God. I believe in Jesus. But I'm just saying, like, people talk about a lot of different things in the world about what could possibly be there. You know what I'm saying? And but one thing I truly believe about humans and about humanity as a whole is we cannot replicate an experience we have not yet experienced. So like when we say that we have an imagination, right? I don't believe that imagination can form from nothing itself. It has to come from something that inspires. Even with like Dracula and when you talk about zombies, how like back in the World War II and stuff like that, there was chemicals during radiation, and people were having these certain side effects that put them in a zombie-like state and stuff like that. And that's actually where the filmmakers come into America and they start portraying these things that's happening in the world in these films. It's actually where we get zombie movies from and stuff like that. All these things inspired by certain events that has happened. So like when we talk about celestial beings and we talk about like that, I don't see how anybody couldn't think that is probable, because see, the thing is, what's not probable to me is that you can believe that 24/7 out of the entire day, even though you don't really know how to operate your body fully 100%, right? You just function throughout the entire day, and you believe there's nothing wrong with that idea. But you will say that like you don't believe that something outside of the atmosphere exists, even though you look at the sky, you see the clouds, and you wonder at night what's beyond that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that is something that we worry about sometimes. We think about it, and I think sometimes people dismiss it. And part of my issue is I think that a lot of people need to develop a supernatural worldview and not only stick to what they think about certain things. Because let's say you say, well, I don't think that exists because I believe in God, so I don't think it exists. And I'm like, that's a terrible explanation or excuse, because if your faith is strong enough to where you can experience those things or you can see those things, and then just along the way, it doesn't shake your faith because your faith is bigger than that. I'm like, all right, cool, I feel you, right? But if you're an individual who does not know that for sure, then all it takes is a little cognitive dissonance. All it takes is for someone to show you something you have no frame of reference of. And it's just like when the alien pops up and says, be not afraid. I've heard plenty of examples of people who were being probed or who were experiencing some type of alien situation where they were able to call on the name of God and be saved from those particular instances. So for me, when I look at that, I think it's a powerful thing to kind of put two and two together. It's like someone can call in the name of Jesus when they're experiencing quote unquote alien abduction, whether it's in their head or in the spirit world or, through astral projection, or whether or not it's something that physically occurs. It's still one of those things where it's like the fact that you can have faith that if you call on God in those moments, that you're still going to be freed and saved from it. It's like, to me, that's a powerful thing.
And yeah, it really is, man, because I don't think people understand the power of emotions plus belief. I don't think that they don't understand how like your emotions, by having certain beliefs, right, invoke certain emotions from you. And these emotions can help you because they'll help you in this way. I'll say it like this. the way God works in life is he doesn't operate in a place that has no belief. So first, understand that you're limited spiritually when you limit yourself to doubt. But when you take yourself into a place of belief, you're now like you're now confronting things within yourself that is making you feel emotions. This is why you go through emotional spirals and ups and downs, so that you could eventually grow in yourself into the newer you, that's the better you, that's improved from things and wisened up from things. So, never look at your suffering as true pain. Look at it as true growth and understand that the pain is going to make you stronger, as a person, as an individual. But understanding that your emotions, the key with emotions is understanding why you're feeling them and being honest with them about why you feel them without, without disregarding them or throwing them away, but being yourself fully in the moment of those emotions.
You know what that reminds me of, bro? That reminds me of Gone Freaks, right? And we can move a little bit from here, but like Gone Freaks, he never really let it go through his head. Like, because to me, I'm one of those people who looks at how people are so caught up on like always blaming their parents for all their issues. Yeah, you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, man.
Yeah. So he was so into trying to figure out, what was going on that he wanted to see for himself. Right? Why was his father so into this that he was willing to abandon him? So he wanted to find out, and that's something that can go in several ways, but it can also have a negative effect. Like think about R. Kelly, right? R. Kelly and his brother were both molested by his sister, right? By their sister. But his brother, he recognized and he took it in a traumatizing way, and it caused him to shell up. So he probably didn't become all that he could be in life, you know what I mean, because of what happened to him. But R. Kelly, Robert, he experienced that, and he didn't take a negative effect to it. He just became hypersexualized. And through that process, he always, instead of viewing what happened to him as wrong internally, he always viewed what happened to him as probably a good experience or a pleasurable experience, and repressed any type of trauma that came from it. But and sometimes that can be good, you know what I mean, if it keeps you from being held back, right? If you could transmute the negative that you go through. But it can be a very negative thing if you find yourself in a position where you want to reenact what traumatized you or could have traumatized you into others. So that's like R. Kelly. His sister was like 16. He was like 11. No matter how old he got, he always had a thing for women who were in their teens, for girls. Right. So it's like, I think about that like the Gone Freaks principle. You get what I'm saying? It's just like you have to be able to process and acknowledge that something did happen to you.
And yes, and in that processing, bro, like when you're processing things that happen to you when you go through trauma, like I've been around a lot of people growing up that's had trauma. The first thing is be real with yourself about your emotions. And also, when you go back to, I'm not a counselor, but you know what I'm saying? I've had a lot of trauma in my life. So I'm talking from personal experience. I'm just saying what you can do is understand that you have to go back in the age of when it happened, the first occurrence of the thing that first hurt you. It's not about your reaction to something that's bothering you isn't what people are normally doing to you on a day-to-day basis. You have to go further back in your mind to the thing that really hurt you the most. And most times, the things that hurt people is the first time it ever really happened to them. That's usually the time that it hurts the most.
Yeah, and I want to make some shout outs. I see some people were commenting. It's my first time getting on live on my own YouTube with StreamYard. I finally bought it. Want to make a shout out to Five Snug Ways, to my Brody is live. Hey, what's good with you? Got Parish Days. Hey, that's P Dot right there. Dope artist, dope producer. Me and him, we got some work should be coming out before too long. I was over there recording with him not too long ago. I still got to finish that track, nigga. We got to finish that shit. And then we got Incognito over there, dope gospel rapper. And she a dope singer, songwriter. So if y'all need some songwriting or something like that, you just, hit up Incognita and she'll get you right. And if you need like a gospel rapper or somebody who can just do like some soul music or something like that, some neo soul or just some little fun, hit her up and she'll be able to get that done. And she's been pretty much performing like she's damn near on tour lately doing her thing. So yeah, let's get back to the topic.
Bro.
And also, can't forget to make a special shout out to Reggie right here. Hey, Reggie, dope graphic designer. You're doing your thing, getting these commissions in, staying busy with it. So, hey, I see you, nigga. You be doing your thing.
Yes, sir, man. I'm just trying to, I'm trying to make some black characters, some good creative stuff. I'm trying to make some merch and stuff. And, I'm really just trying to work with people. And get just like I'm really trying to help people, man. I'm trying to help communities. We need each other. On some real shit. And with the food shortages going on and a lot of things going on in the black community, we need to, I'm saying all this bullshit fighting is not, meaningless. We need to come together, help each other's out, help each other's businesses out, and really come out there, support them, pay that full price. You know what I'm saying? If you can tip your peoples, tip your peoples. You know what I'm saying? You can pay them their price, pay them the full price. They deserve that, man. They're working hard. So that's what I got to say about that.
Hey, that's some real shit right there, bro. Man, there's a lot of different things that I be studying and getting into lately. I think like we was talking about with the whole supernatural worldview thing, man. I think that's an important topic to cover from time to time. Some more things to cover right now is, we are excited about Bleach coming back. Did you watch or did you read any of the new manga, or are you up to date with any of the new chapters of Berserk that have come out since Kentaro Miura passed away?
I am not, bro, but I do know that Casca got her memory back and all that good stuff. I do know about that. But just like when he died, that shocked me, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. That was tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was tough, man. Cause it was like irony, because it was like, the community kept like kind of teasing about that stuff, but it's kind of sad when like stuff like that happened for real.
Yeah, because we was teasing it for a while. Like, wouldn't it be fucked up if Kentaro Miura passed away before he even finished Berserk? Because he's been working on that shit since at least '89. Like, it's been over 30 years since he's been working on it, and he did pass away. But you want to know some dope information about that though? Kentaro Miura is pretty much his best friend, or his rival was the one who inspired the character of Griffith, right? And he's the one who's actually taking it over, because he was the only person who he told what would happen with the ending of Berserk and what would happen in the rest of pretty much the chapters, the rest of the narrative. So the one who inspired Griffith is the one who is spearheading the rest of Berserk being finished.
Oh no, that's what's up. That's dope as fuck, bro.
Yeah, it is, man.
Like,
so I'm Go ahead.
I feel like so how do you feel about like the new season of like Hunter x Hunter? You feel like, how's that going for you? How you think that's going?
I'm gonna keep it a buck with you, bro. It was just like such an emotional dump after Adult Gone that I kind of lost interest in the show after Adult Gone. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's like this shit went too hard. It's like it was hard for me to see it coming back. Now I am keeping up with a little bit. Like, Kahlua goes to his sister. I believe her name was Aluka, so he could try to get, so he could get Gon's life back. I'm not sure if Gon is anywhere near getting his powers back yet. But I would say this. I would love to see Gon turn into the villain of the show, and Kahlua pretty much being the Naruto to Gon Sasuke. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean. That would be a cool ass dynamic. Them two, you know, being like the reverse of what they was in the beginning, and now they have like this type of dynamic where it's, encapsulating.
Yeah, I fuck with it. I do. I think that would be a really dope way to like deal with the situation. And I'm about to open this up and see if anybody wants to join the call. So I'm going to share this link to a few people. I don't know if anyone's going to get on here, but I am going to go ahead and drop this in here. See if there's niggas who want to talk.
On God, bro. I'm gonna have to leave in a couple minutes though.
Bet. No problem.
But you know what I'm saying. You already know, man. Next topic. You know, I'm gonna be here, and anybody, you need graphic or anime art, rap covers. I do all that stuff. So, you know what I'm saying. I'm in Kage. I'm posting something tomorrow too, y'all. So it's gonna be some Steven Universe stuff. So
All right, no doubt. Hey, so if you ever got some pictures that you want to post, as far as some of your artwork, just go ahead and send some to me, and I can put it in the overlay.
Okay, word. Yeah, I got you, man. I got a lot of them anyway. I need to give you some, bro.
Bet. And I think soon I might do like an event or something like that. And I'm not sure if it would be fair if you join, but we might do it like that. We might do it like put it to a vote and do a cash prize for a new like t-shirt logo. Now the logo that you and me that we worked on together for Brokage, I'm pretty sure we keeping that. I might get a tattoo of that shit, right?
Yeah, I know you like that shit. I know.
Yeah, because I be wearing it. I got my Brokage face mask on right now. I got it on my neck.
You, bro. I saw you in the group chat. They talk about Brokage mask. Man, stop.
I got Brokage t-shirts too, man, because I had wore them to a anime convention last year, so I still got some. I still got one, and Incognita, she got the other one, but I'm trying to get some more, so I'm really trying to sell some of the merch. I might sell the t-shirts like $25, but I do want to make a new design though, and also Leonardo, he's real dope with making, the vans with the anime designs on them. So I need like a new banner, new logo for my YouTube, and I'm trying to rev shit up in Brokage. So need a new design, something that can be put on a t-shirt without worrying about no copyright type of shit. You know what I mean? So not the design for the logo, but just like a good artistic design. It might just put some ideas out there and just charge. I mean, and maybe put a cash prize up there, like maybe put it to a vote, and
right.
The winning vote gets the one that wins the most votes can get maybe $50 or some shit like that.
No, I feel you. Yeah, that sounds good. And also before I forget too, y'all, in November, I think it's November 5th, Atlanta, Georgia. There's another Comic-Con that's going to be in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm probably gonna have a booth station out there. At least I'm planning on putting a booth station out there, y'all. They're gonna have all the voice actors like Sanji, Zoro. They're gonna have the voice actors from One Piece. They're gonna have some people from Star Wars down there. I would suggest y'all look into it. I probably, I don't got the name off the top of my head, but I'll try to put the information in the group chat for y'all. And you know what I'm saying? If I find it, I'll put it in this chat right now. So
Bet. So I'm gonna see if there's anything else that needs to be talked about. If you need to go drop out, you can go ahead and do that. I'm gonna see if there's anybody I want to add in here. Might post something up. Let's see. See, I might post another picture in here. And yeah, y'all, this is my first time getting on this live like this, so I'm just having a good time. And I think sometimes we just get in here and cover some memes. Like, something that a lot of people don't talk about too is like, oh, you was coming back in?
Yeah.
Oh, bet. Yeah, one thing people don't talk about enough is the fact that Obito let Kakashi win the same way Itachi let Sasuke win. Them niggas really wasn't ready for that smoke, to be 100% with you.
Hey, but I ain't gonna even cap to you. What was I gonna say? I was watching that Ragnarok. I ain't gonna lie, man. That was a good show, bro. I didn't think it was gonna be that good. I'm still watching it, but that thing good, bro. That thing good, bro. Castlevania good too. If y'all haven't watched Castlevania, y'all need to go watch Castlevania. That's good.
Yeah, I haven't watched that last season that came out yet, but that shit was fire.
Hey, yo, yeah, watch that last season, bro. Big plot twist. Good. For sure. Cause I'll be Oh, and if y'all haven't watched One Punch Man, y'all need to go watch that too, man. That's a good show, man.
I think they just confirmed. Was it season 3 or season 4 that confirmed?
I think it's season 3. Season 2 was with what's it, Gojo? Gojo, the wolf, the silver fist martial artist. But this new arc is gonna be what happened at the end of season 2. So, but I ain't gonna spoil that for nobody. So you know what I'm saying? I got y'all.
Oh man, we've been spoiling shit like a motherfucker all this whole time.
It's too late. It's too late. It's done.
It's too late to worry about spoils, nigga. If you don't know, now you know.
Nigga. It's like, damn, nigga, I was on episode 6. Like, damn, my bad, bro.
Hey, you see this shit right here?
What you talking about?
You see it?
I pulled the string back. Oh shit. Girls, Peter Parker.
Selling pictures of themselves for money. Hey, it be like that sometimes, man.
Bruh. Nah, speaking of which, what would you do if you was Peter Parker, bro? Hours, bruh.
Man, if I was Peter Parker, I'd have a bag, nigga. They tripping.
Bruh. A big bag.
Peter was a hero, not a hustler. You feel me?
You feel me? Cause like that was me, nigga. Web sling, nigga. I'm making 100 bands. I'm out, bro. This man could have been like Tony Stark, making all that money, but that man was like, "Let me go save the city, nigga, and I make money. You ain't even got a job."
No, that's some real shit right there. Let's see. I wonder who else might get on here too. Let's see. Because I done sent the links to too many people, so I don't even remember who's at the top of the list on here. And what I'm thinking about doing is using the back chat to see who's going to get into the live stream videos when we get on here.
That makes sense. I mean, honestly, you can make it a game to make it fun, bro.
Oh yeah. Let's start having people call in. Also, I gotta say some real shit though.
Yeah, what you gotta say?
It's hard being a Frank Ocean fan.
Yeah, I know. That nigga be pissing you off.
Yeah, yeah, because this nigga it will drop a cock ring before he drops some music. You know what I mean? And I know this shit look comfortable, but it's like something about it. I kind of would like some diamonds on my dick. It's like, let's say I go out in public and it's like, you know, I'm married. You know, I'm not married right now, but let's say I get married one day and I go out in public. Somebody's like, why you don't have your ring on? You never wear your ring. I'm like, who told you that? who told you who told you I ain't got my ring on? This guy got diamonds on my dick, bitch.
But Jules.
Yeah.
Oh fucking hell.
Yeah. No. Fuck that wedding band on the ring. I'm gonna put some diamonds around my dick and get this Frank Ocean cock ring.
Got these diamonds on my neck. Diamonds dance around.
I feel like diamonds on my dick. I feel like that'd go hard in a song.
That's that Young Thug song, ain't it? Black Diamonds. Let me stop.
I don't even know. I don't really listen to Young Thug, but it's crazy what he going through right now. But that nigga probably put that shit on himself. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, he did 100%. 100%, man. Sad as it is, bro, he just got to do his time, bro.
Yeah, but it's crazy how they threw Gunna in that shit. And I don't really like that whole using lyrics against people in court thing. But
Bro, that's so lame.
yeah, but at the same time, I'll be looking at it like, bro, I don't really fuck with it, but this nigga was asking for it. I mean, this nigga, like, because I don't make killy, Bernie, cut music neither. You know what I mean? So it's like, my music is, I talk about life and, sex, anime, just how much I enjoy music, psychology and, spirituality, love, God. These are things I talk about, but I ain't really interested in listening to somebody talking about killing niggas and selling drugs all day. I mean, sometimes it's cool. I probably got my picks that I like it from, but for the most part, I ain't fucking with it.
Yeah, because you know what I'm saying. I feel you, bro. I just want rap to get back to that type of thing, like expressing yourself, talking about things you like. You know what I'm saying? That's what art is. You know what I'm saying? Just getting things off your chest. It's really therapy when you think about it.
It is, man, and that's one of the things that I enjoy the most about it, because oftentimes it's like, as black men, that's one way we can just express ourselves, and also it's one way to show competence and expertise, and to really to say something, but to put it down in a way that it conveys both logic and emotion at the same time. It's just where those two things they bridge, and I just love that aspect of it. But I will say that if I do want to listen to some I killed that nigga type of music, I like listening to somebody like Boldy James. Boldy James go hard. That song, I don't even know a lot of his songs, but that Moth in the Flame, oh, I love that song. I listen to street shit like that. I like that.
I felt that, man. To me, I've been hanging around your ass so much. I've been sitting in my room listening to Lauryn Hill in the dark. Please stop.
That's some real shit. That sound like some. Listen, if I were to post, I'm gonna put this screenshot in here of like I took a picture of my my YouTube music the other day. I think it was yesterday, and when I took a screenshot of my YouTube music because it was just a bunch of random songs in there, and I'm like, nigga, you got a random ass taste in music, which you will, I guess maybe not too random. Let me post this shit in here because I really just went in there to listen to some Earl, and this is just, I guess, what I've been listening to some this week. These tracks right here.
I feel you.
What's this right here? I wonder if I can stretch it. No, I wonder if that shit can be seen. Can you see that?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, I had some Earl Sweatshirt, some Jill Scott, some Baby Keem, some Lucky Day, some Steve Lacy, some James Fauntleroy. Like, that sounds about like what I like to listen to on a regular basis.
I ain't gonna even cap to you. I was listening to Teddy Pendergrass, Steve Lacy, what we call it? Jill Scott, the other day too. Like, I mean, when you put me on Steve Lacy, because I hadn't heard his music, and Amari right here, he had put me on Steve Lacy, so I like his music, so I'll be playing his stuff. I got like a little chill playlist.
I think damn near every playlist I have is a chill playlist. Well, you know what? Most of them I don't even have to make a playlist because YouTube, that's why I be on YouTube so much, because YouTube knows my algorithms. So anytime I get on YouTube is one of the things where I can just go on YouTube Music, click one song, and then the songs I want to hear come up next. You know what I mean? But speaking of music and blur shit, man, I love Thundercat, bro. I love Thundercat. I went to see him perform one time. I want to see him perform again. This time, I guess the tickets kind of waited too long to book the tickets, so them shits kind of went kind of high. So like, damn, I guess I got to miss Thundercat this time, and Steve Lacy, because Steve Lacy's about to go see PJ Morton soon. I think next week. PJ Morton, I did a live reaction with Incognita of PJ Morton's Watch the Sun.
Mm-hmm.
The video got decent views compared to some of my other videos. But about to go see him perform live. But that ticket is not even super expensive like that. It's probably like $50 some, something like that. But Steve Lacy show, that shit is $200 at some of his cheapest. I'm like, the fuck, bro? I wanted to come see you and support, but you were taxing niggas out here.
I'm trying to tell you, bro, they're not making this stuff cheaper. They're making it. But I mean, that's always been the game of upsell. But like, I feel like now, like back in the day, they probably do like a margin, like they do it 2 times the product value. Now niggas in charge you like 5 times off one item, bro. That's not nigga. You robbing me, dude. Like,
It's like Steve Lacy. It's like I like you, but I don't know if I $200 like
I
you.
don't know if I love you though. I like you, but do I love you? 500.
Yeah.
That's a lot of love, nigga.
Like $200 like you is like that's gonna. If me and the girl go, it's like shit. That's about $400, and then that's probably another $100, like $500. And it's like,
I'm trying to get to asking him, what have you done for me lately?
yeah. But you know what? I plan to do a live reaction to his last album soon. I might use StreamYard to do it because I've been waiting to listen to this new Steve Lacy album. I only heard 2 tracks on it, which was Mercury and Bad Habit. I did not listen to anything else because I've been planning to do a live reaction. You know what? I still ain't listened to the second half of Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers yet, because when I listened to the first half, I was doing a live reaction and then didn't get to finish the second half. So I just never went back and listened to the second half of Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. And I heard the second half was better. But I got a habit of that. Like, it took me months to listen to Earl Sweatshirt's album because I wanted to do a live reaction. But I did the live reaction. I got it done. It's up on YouTube. But I didn't listen to his album for months, even though that's my favorite rapper, because I want to do the live reaction. But that's just something that come with being an artist. It's like, if you can't get it done quick enough, you might miss the wave.
Man, and that's really what it is, man. You got to be ready so you don't have to get ready, man.
Yeah.
It's like that out here, man. Because, like, for instance, y'all, the Black Panther release is about to come out in November and stuff like that. So y'all better prep in October so you be ready, got your stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, you know what? That's an interesting thing. I know, like, for me personally, I have really mixed feelings about this new Black Panther shit. I'm gonna be honest with you, bro.
Everybody does to some degree because of how they wanted Chad to be in it. But I feel like, man, people, I think the expectations, I think that this movie's gonna meet expectations. I don't know. I got a good feeling from it. Like, I don't feel like it's gonna be a flop. I don't feel like she's not going to carry the role. I don't feel like she's just going to drop the ball. I don't feel like that with that actress because she played her role pretty good in the last movie. So I feel like there's going to be a structure there, but I don't know. It's going to all depend on where they're going to creatively take it and for what angles they're going to want to shoot it. And really, from what they really want this Black Panther to truly be about. Because the other one, we're always going to remember it because it gave us pride. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I wanna leave a special message on here before it gets too late and you got to step up out of here. I gotta let people know. Oh shit, I can't post that. Hold up. You know, I realized I gotta crop stuff out before I put it on there, so I'm gonna leave that alone. But shit, it be like that sometimes, bro. No cap.
For real.
Man, did you ever see Nope?
No, I didn't actually see Nope yet. But I can watch it because I can watch it for free upstairs.
Oh yeah. You know, when I came by to see you and we had a cigar session and shit like that. We went by to do that, left straight from there to go to see Nope, and that movie was pretty good. But I fell asleep a little bit in the movies. Well, I'm keep wide of myself, but it wasn't because the movie wasn't good. It's just it be like that sometimes.
Nah, for real, that was me. Hey, bro, I ain't gonna lie, and it was because I was bored. Everybody was talking about Ant-Man. I don't know why I couldn't do it. Man, I sat up in there. Man, I was like the whole day hype watching Ant-Man. I was like, I'm gonna watch Ant-Man. Got up in that thing. I wasn't that impressed. I was like, I didn't really come here for him. You know? I'm like,
I think I only saw the first Ant-Man movie. I'm not sure if I saw anything but the first.
I'm trying to see Thor, nigga. I'm not trying to see you. Like, I'm not trying to see Ant-Man. I'm trying to see Thor, God of Thunder.
You know what I love though, right?
You feel me? What you love, man?
Those realistic ones like Glass, like Split, Glass, and Unbreakable. Man, bro, that shit was fire to me.
About that. I know. Yeah, but you know, I mean, so how do you feel about like where anime is heading for the next couple of years? I think it's heading pretty good direction, if you ask me.
I think so as well, man.
I feel like anime is getting better and graphics for the anime is getting better. And they're coming out with some unique shit that's hitting like in every genre now, you know?
Yeah, there's some new shit I still want to see. You know what I mean? There's some things I'm looking forward to. Like I'm looking forward to if they come out with, I don't know, man. It's some stuff I'm looking forward to. I want to see a new Berserk series. You know what I mean? But do I need to see the Golden Age arc again? No, but yeah. Man, they just showed us the Golden Age arc like 4 fucking times, like 3, 4 times already. It's like stop fucking it up and just go past the Golden Age arc. But maybe let the manga about just as long as you let it continue through the finish of the manga. So if you time the ending of the manga, y'all working at a good pace, then I would love for it to be one of them situations where it turns around and then right at the end of it, we got we got the actual ending of Berserk in the anime. But you know, it'd be like that sometimes.
Yeah, man. It really do. And honestly, I feel like, but I feel like those are the stories that make the impacts, though. The ones that you don't expect to go a certain way, you know?
Yeah, it is. But it's like, but really, the Golden Age arc. I mean, just the beginning of the Black Swordsman arc with the Golden Age arc, and up until the point of the eclipse, and just a tiny bit past it is pretty much my favorite anime. Like, even though it doesn't have the complete story, Berserk is pretty much my favorite anime, and it's climbed its way up. Like, I don't know how it did it. It's just like every other month, I go back and I rewatch all 25 episodes again. You know what I mean? It's just something I do.
I got you. In the words of Earl Sweatshirt, smell like bitch.
Yeah, it smell like bitch in here to me.
Hey man, I saw that clip the other day. I just had to shout out Earl, bro. That nigga fire.
Yeah, oh yeah, that Earl album was fire too. I enjoyed that shit, bro. No cap. But man, that damn the thing about it is this. Earl's my favorite rapper, but it's not because I think he just makes the best music in the world. Well, I love his ability to play with words, his ability to paint pictures, his ability to make these vague statements so deep and poignant, right? Like saying a lot with a little. To me, and saying a little with a lot or a lot with a little. Like, to me, that's an ability that I really respect when it comes to being a rapper, right? That's just something I think is just dope.
Oh God, I definitely agree. That's what, to be honest with you, that's what makes me like rap to begin with. It's like 3K. It's like 3 Stacks. That's my favorite rapper of all time. It's always been my favorite rapper. It's because the wordplay for me, you know what I'm saying? When it comes to syllables, rhymes, multi-syllable rhymes, around, look, it's about the way he's expressing the words. He knows the etymology of the words, and so he's able to construct it in such a way that's masterful. You know what I'm saying? It's masterfully put together because he's reading the definition, he knows the words, and he can layer all those different meanings in such a deep way to get you to see exactly, you know what I'm saying, the message, the overall message he's trying to get you to look at it as. You know what I'm saying? And one thing I like about 3K that he does is it's kind of like his music is usually oxymorons to the message.
Oh yeah, like Hey Y'all.
Yeah, like his songs like Hey Y'all, right? That looks very happy and stuff. It's very sad songs, but it's kind of like, you know, foreshadowing, showing people hiding things in plain sight. You know what I'm saying? And it's type of thing where he's like, I can keep you entertained and take you on a goose chase, keep you on this journey that I want you to be on, and at the same time, you're gonna understand this story isn't what you initially thought when you was, listening to the lyrics. You know?
No, that's some real shit. Like, Hey Ya is really a great song where really break it down social dynamics, because when it comes to Hey Ya and sociosexual dynamics, Like Hey Ya is really a track that breaks down like monogamy and the pressures of it. It breaks down uh, pressure and obligation, but it also breaks down the desire to step out, but also just the fact that people grow apart from each other over time. So
Yeah.
it's really a sad message, but it's really a sad message from a perspective of just accepting life for what it is. But you know what? There's a whole genre of songs. I still got to talk about sometimes my what I call it, the toxic femininity triad. You remember that shit?
Yeah. He's talking about the toxic family and different levels of toxicity. I'm sorry, I'm cutting this salad, for dinner. Don't mind me. You there, Mark?
What'd you say?
I say you there?
Yeah, I'm here. And I'm gonna post them. This shit is gonna be hilarious. I'm gonna tell you right now, because I guarantee you encounter some of these, right? I know for a fact, right? So I'm gonna bring this the sage burner right here, right?
Yeah.
Now there is some of the best songs of all time are songs written about sage burners, right? Like think about Jupiter by Train.
True.
What'd you say?
Big facts.
Yeah. It's them free spirit women who the men just love. They love to get like in their feelings about, and then it's like, oh, I can't control her, and then it's like, then she play games with him. She acting crazy and shit like that. Next thing you know, he just in love, and she's like, oh, I just want to go explore and learn the real me.
I just want to find the real me. So many years, I have just been a shell of who I'm meant to be. I deserve it.
Yeah, and then basically they need to go be friendly pussy for a little while. It'd be like that sometimes, and it's like typically when the woman start pulling away like that, that's where the man decides, okay, well now I want to be super serious and shit like that, and then it's like, oh, she don't even want you no more because the challenge has been completed. So the stage burner, she'll go ahead and get up out of there. And it's like it drops of Jupiter by Train. There's some more songs. I'm trying to remember the songs that niggas. Oh, Hello, It's Me. Hello, it's me. I thought about it for a long, long time. Remember that song?
Nah. Oh yeah.
Too much, but that's wrong. Hey, that's my shit right there.
And my posse used to play that type of stuff. It was good though. I love that type of shit.
Yeah, I love that song. I sampled that shit too.
Oh yeah? What was the name of the track?
I didn't finish the track, but I did sample it, and I remember I have to finish the track because there's this guy passed away, little Tommy Chung. He went to my high school, and he was like the only person to comment on the video when I posted it on Instagram, and he passed away, and he was an artist, so I think I might have to finish that one. But I had sampled that shit. It was that sample was tough. I ain't even gonna lie to you, and yeah, that's another song about them sage burners. It's like when a man's making like an ode to a woman who, he just can't get over, but he understands that, what, I ain't in your you ain't in my rotation, I'm in your rotation. You know what I mean? It's like, you're a free spirit. I can't hold you down, but I still want some of that though.
Yeah. I want some, you know what I'm saying? Some of the, like, at the same time, I know it's not mine. It's my turn.
Yeah, it'd be like that sometimes.
You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, everybody ain't for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Enjoy the time.
But you know what people don't often notice in some of those instances in them type of songs? It's like there's a subtle defeat in those songs where it's like coping with your defeat through transmuting that negative emotion into a positive emotion where you could individual and say, you know what, they're that's just who they are, and that's good to be able to accept people in that way too. But sometimes the niggas be putting too much emotional weight on these women. It's just like the man through an emotional roller coaster, and because she sent him through a roller coaster, really addicted to the woman, So because he's emotionally woman, like I'll take whatever treatment you throw at me, and I call that the feminist submission, right? But it only works really in the face of an individual who actually is attracted to you enough and enough to be with you, and somebody who is going to be better around you. They're going to teach you something along the way, and they have a program. They have leadership. You know, unless somebody has leadership skills, feeling that way about somebody is not the most positive thing. You know, especially now.
Because where are you going? And that's what people have to ask. Like, when you have a partner, where are you taking them to? It's not just about, you know what I'm saying? It's not about you. It is about you. You're supposed to be the focus of your own life. But I'm saying when you're conducting yourself in leadership with somebody else, or and vice versa, right? You're trying to make sure that you're taking them a place, one, that they want to go, two, that they believe that you'll be competent in, and three, like, they trust your leadership. And trust in leadership.
Is that your nephew?
Yeah. that trust in leadership comes from showing that you are a capable person, and you're on point with what you want and how you want it done and why you want it done, and facilitating the proper stability for somebody to feel confident in your ability to be reliable and show up.
Yeah, that's real right there, and I think that's why I talk about the sexual polarity quadrant, right? The way why I break this stuff down the way I do, because let's say if it's like a masculine submissive guy, a guy who's not dominant enough to go out and get what he wants when it comes to dealing with women, then oftentimes he's not going to experience a woman feeling a certain way about him unless it's a woman who just lacks internal boundaries.
Hey, Amar, you still there?
A woman getting crazy and emotional as if that's her sign of showing that she loves him. So it's like a man who thinks like that is often just someone who's codependent, setting himself up to deal with someone who's narcissistic. It's like he'll get love bombed real quick up front, play that game with him, but there's no real leadership. There's no direction that is going in. And I believe a man most of the time should take that position of leadership. But you can't do that as someone who's not actually dominant, right? You can't do that without actually having a plan, having a program, having a frame of reference of this is what my expectations are, this is how the situation should go, and being attractive enough to make that happen without being overly transactional about it. Because you can't leverage anything that you're trading. Like you can't leverage anything that you're being transactional for.
True. But I think this goes into a point that correlates to your point is this. Where does the feeling of feeling dominating come from? It comes from the success of being successful at a certain situation, circumstance, scenario. So, for instance, if you are having a bunch of successful women, you're going to feel like you're in a dominating energy because guess what? You are successful in it. So you're naturally confident in that state. You're going to dominate something you're confident in. And that goes back to repetition. So how often are you able to get what you want as a specific thing? And then understand if you're being transactional about it. And if you are being transactional about it, you need to work on yourself so that you don't have to feel as though, you have to be transactional in this way to be treated a certain way. You have to unlearn those things.
Yeah, that's real talk, because really to be transactional is like a sign that you lack intrinsic self-value in that particular area. You know what I mean? And
True.
You lack the ability to have experience with showing that. Or you lack you'd rather be transactional and do it another way. So it's like I do look at those situations and I say it's like, that to me that's crazy, right? But I get it. For some men, they're just at a place where it doesn't matter to them anymore. It's like, fuck it, it's cool. But I don't think that most women are going to respect a man who they view more as a trick then they view him as a leader. And part of that is you know, a lot of men don't understand it's difficult for a woman to respect you.
Yeah.
No, but
yeah, for sure.
it's difficult for a lot of women to respect you if they feel like you don't respect yourself enough to deal with a woman who doesn't sexually desire them.
Exactly. But here's again, right? Everything goes back to self-improvement. To know yourself, you have to spend time with yourself. So many people spend time away from themselves, distracting themselves with other people. They don't want to be alone to be able to know themselves and become confident in themselves. And then they can go out, branch from that, and be their authentic selves. They don't have to go around and beat around the bush and be fake, or try to comply, or try to, conform to peer pressure, or try to fit in with people who don't really give a fuck about them. And when their life go to shit, they're not going to be there for you. Though, if you have that self-improvement, you will still know the right course of actions to make the proper decisions to get yourself out of bad situations. So you have to understand, feed your mind the knowledge, and train your mind, your body, your soul, so that you can navigate this world easier. Because the world works like this: the lazier you are, the harder life is. The harder you work, the easier life will become for you. And that's the facts.
And yeah, that's real stuff right there, man. Because like when we look at it from that perspective, and we're talking about like that aspect of things, there's a lot of scenarios in which people don't really know better. And I say this, I look at it like this. I think I see security as a combination, right? It's not only positive experiences, because you'll lack character, because if your self-esteem is built too much on positive experiences, then you'll get the positive experience at the while putting your character in jeopardy to get it. You know what I mean? But if it's too and then also you have to get the positive experience before you can have any type of confidence. But then there's also having confidence that's based on delusion, right? Where there's nothing that reinforces it, and you also lack the ability to push yourself forward when it comes to going beyond where you currently are, what level you're on. So I think both of those things kind of just come in mind, right? So to me, when I look at and think about the concept of confidence, I'm looking at the situation and saying, well, as a man, right, just as a man, some of that confidence is going to be built on your personal self-esteem, your personal mindset, all those different things. But another aspect is going to be based on if you get positive outcomes in your life. And you need enough internal self-love to be able to put yourself out in ways that you know you're confident, to put yourself out there in ways to gain the experience, but also enough humility, which also comes from confidence, to know when you're not cutting it. And if you're unable to tell when you're not cutting it, and you're thinking in this delusional state of mind of thinking that you're perfect at all times, then you're going to have a lack of accountability. And for the men who like to talk about women lacking accountability, you're going to be the same as the people who you talk negatively about. So I do think it's important to have a frame of reference of understanding that as well. So I think both come in mind, and let's say you're not having positive experiences, but you don't base any of your confidence on having positive experiences, and rejection never bothers you. Then you could be getting rejected 1,000 times when your approach is just fucked up, and you're leading with something that you don't have enough desirability to do. And you may not improve your desirability in that area enough to be effective in that type of approach, but you also may not be aware that there may be a better way of attracting the people who you're trying to deal with, and just the outcomes in life. So you have to make yourself attractive for the outcomes that you desire. So that's part of why I talk about dom sub dynamics. Like, let's say that as a man, or let's say the masculine dominant, feminine submissive, feminine dominant, masculine submissive, these areas of the sexual polarity quadrant. Like, to be a masculine dominant, which is a leader, you have to make yourself attractive for the outcome that you desire, and you have to be intrinsically desirable for the things that may stroke your ego, right? So you just got to understand that.
Yeah, I see. I feel like that type, when you was talking about humility, to know when you're not being accountable, you're not making a cut. I definitely agree with that point. That's very important for us as men to acknowledge our mistakes promptly and quickly as possible, because we have to remember that we are problem solvers, and so we have to be prepared so we don't have to get prepared. So when, you know, like what I'm already saying is like, you don't want to make additional mistakes because you want to think that you're perfect or you're better than what you are. Don't fool yourself into a disillusion about what your abilities and talents are, but more so be realistic and real about where you're actually at, and make real, reachable, attainable goals to work yourself to those goals so that you can reach success.
And you know what, that's facts. And I think part of it is you have to be confident enough within yourself to not feel down about yourself if you aren't exactly where you want to be right now. Like, that's part of confidence.
Yeah.
Say, I'm not there right now. That is cool. There's nothing wrong with that. You just have to take extra steps moving forward, because you know that, you know, a lot of people deal with mental health issues and depression and stuff. Some of these things can be somewhat chemical based or based on, you know, hormones, and that's a real thing. I don't want to discount that. And there's biology. You know, sometimes things are inherited damn near, but a lot of things are based off of mindset and lifestyle, you know, health. You know what I mean? Like, you getting enough sleep? Are you getting enough? Are you getting proper nutrition? Are your dopamine responses always in constant up and down due to having big spikes in sugar that you have on a regular basis and carbohydrates?
Right.
But you also have to think about this. What is your mindset? You know, the neurological recipe for happiness is for your mind, your amygdala, to feel like you're in a positive trajectory towards your goals. Reaching the goal does not create happiness, right? And that's why you can't base it completely off of your ego. But if you tell yourself your ego does not exist, then you're already at the place of your goal. Now, that only works if you have intrinsic motivation to pursue a goal because you desire to. And it only works if that goal is one that will actually lead towards a positive place of what you deem to be successful in life. So this idea of separating from the ego is not real, and it's disingenuous. We have to be secure enough in ourselves to accept where we are right now, and then like who we are right now, to see what our strengths and weaknesses are right now, but also secure enough to go, and insecure enough, if you want to say that, to go and improve the things that need to be improved to have at least a baseline level of success. And with baseline level of success, you get the momentum going, you build the momentum up, and then you move forward. Then you build competence, and confidence based on competence instead of delusion.
No, 100%. And another thing, you know, to add on what you was saying earlier too, bro, like, people think that you shouldn't have an ego, right? But let me tell you something. If you have humility, right? And you're able to still be accountable, how can ego be a bad thing? You have to think about it like this. Your ego is where your self-esteem lies in yourself. So you, to a degree, like Amara and I'm saying, like, you have to have an ego about yourself, because how are you going to believe in where you're going if you don't have a self-esteem about you? See, and so many people confuse having a self-esteem about themselves, right, with narcissism, but it's not always lumped in the same way. There are people who are just confident, right? They're confident and unapologetic, but at the same time, they still have that humility to correct mistakes and be accountable for things they're not right about. And those people do exist. By understanding the world we live in, we don't come across those types of people anymore because of the way that our society has basically downplayed our moral importance. You know, I mean, and I want to, you know, stress this point too. Like, it doesn't matter what religion you have. Morality is just a simple of right and wrong, and everyone has different views on what it is and what it looks like. But what I'm saying also is, do what you want done unto you. Primarily, that's the best advice, because if you don't know what someone else would rather be treated like, at least respect somebody as you would respect yourself. Like, if you would want some space, You give space if you wouldn't want people to be, you know, intruding on your boundaries and your space and your time. You know what I'm saying? You want those type of people. Don't let people slide on those things, stand on those things. Have that self-esteem about yourself. Because at the end of the day, self-esteem protects you from getting hurt.
Yeah, and self-esteem, yeah, that self-esteem protects you from getting hurt. And when we think about it in the context of relationships, some things are going to be intrinsically motivated paths of growth, and some things are going to be fear-based. If you get complacent in a situation where you need to grow, your ego can't be too big for someone to put a little bit of heat under your ass about whatever it is. It's just like, would you rather be at a job where no one tells you that you're underperforming, and then out of nowhere you just get fired one day? Or is your ego so big that you would rather prefer that? Or would you rather be in a situation where you know how you're performing, and then when you're not performing up to par, they let you know, then you can improve your behavior? Or are you going to take that as someone is trying to get on your case, and you can take that as you're getting frustrated and upset with people, right? So I think that's something to think about as well. And we can think about that with relationships as well. It's just like that's where the masculine, feminine, dom, sub dynamics of the sexual polarity quadrant come in, right? If you're masculine dominant, you have to hold yourself accountable, right? That's the thing. If somebody feels that feminine, submissive way about you, right, you can still communicate with them and check in with them and have those conversations with them, but they're going to be a lot more receptive and malleable to certain ways that you may treat them than others would. Just like a great example of that would be, let's say you're in a relationship where maybe it's BDSM. Maybe you give the woman punishments. Maybe you can call her names, or you're a slut, or you're nasty bitch, or a variety of things. You could even slap her, right? You're not doing it to be abusive. It's something that she enjoys. It's something that she likes. It's something that goes along with your relationship dynamic. But you have to hold yourself accountable and be very observant, because with great power comes great responsibility. When somebody feels that type of way about you, and if that individual gets burnt out in the process, then they may not be able to let you know when things is off, because they may not feel comfortable communicating that to you. I don't feel the same about you when they leave. And it's different between doing things that way versus having more of a partnership, right? But no position is 100% safe, because even if you have a partnership with somebody, if someone else makes them feel, if you have a partnership, then they can communicate to you sometimes a little bit easier when they don't like something, because they're thinking about the transaction. But guess what? If they meet somebody who it doesn't feel like a transaction with, they gonna choose up. So
right, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So there's no way that's 100% to protect yourself from anything bad happening, which is why you need a baseline level of self-esteem. But what confidence can do, and what competence can do, and what having game can do, is put you in a situation where while you're dealing with the woman, she's treating you up to what your standards are, right? You're being treated well. There's women I've dealt with to where less than the bare minimum of what I would require had other men wanting to marry them, right? Like, women learn things dealing with me to where a man who's of a lesser quality will be head over heels in a month's time, 2 months' time, because he's not used to being treated as well as the bare minimum, or less than the bare minimum, of how I require women to treat me that I deal with. But if I can't make that a pleasurable experience for them, if I can't control myself to the point where I don't burn them out, if I can't lead properly, then all that energy a woman's pouring out to deal with me is gonna blow the fuck back up in my face. Real shit.
On some real talk, and I'll make a side note on that comment too, and be like, I heard something yesterday, right? It was talking about why men should be silent, right? The masculine energy, the polarity of masculinity, where it comes from, right? And they was talking about how in the beginning, when you was born, you were silent, and when you when you leave this earth, you will go back to silence. But why is a man silent? Because there's power, there's strength in silence. It's power in silence. You know what I'm saying? Before there was sound, there was silence. That's how powerful silence is.
There's stoicism. You know what I mean? And I think stoicism is a great thing. I think sometimes, man, we can go overboard with the stoicism, but it's like if I think I don't remember what the proverb said, but it was in Proverbs, and it was just talking about how, you know, if you're a man and, you know, if you're a fool and you don't say nothing, you know, nobody knows you're a fool. But if you know, open up your mouth, then you know you've
Yeah.
confirmed. And sometimes it's best to say less. You know what I mean? Over communication kills polarity, right? Because there's a certain line of over communication where it starts to turn into some simping, some over, you know, some like you're trying to beg the woman, or you're trying to coerce the woman, or you're trying to butter her up and love bomb her, or you're trying to convince her or something, or all these different things that you may view as you just feel like talking to her, right?
Right.
Oftentimes, trying to go out of your way to convince something to a woman who already doesn't respect you enough is one of those things to where it kind of comes off where she trusts you even less, because now she starts to almost view you as someone who isn't even sure about what he wants, because you want her more than you want to follow the plan that you set in front of yourself. And that's where a woman often loses even more respect for a man.
Right. And it's really like you have to understand as a man, like, and I had to learn this, you have to be the example that you're trying to set when it comes to women. You gotta be the example you're trying to set. Like, you want things to be better in your relationships. But what type of man are you? How do you carry yourself as a man? Do you do what you say? Are you at where you say you at? Do you do the things you say? Do you move how you say, or do you move quickly or in opposition to what you say? Because if you move in opposition to what you say, you'll never be trusted by women.
No, that's
But
big.
if you keep it 100, you keep it all the way top G, whether it's harsh or whether it's soft, you will be respected.
Yeah, you know, and on some real shit too. It's like some men don't understand that there's some women who will purposefully deal with you because they know that they won't be able to trust you enough to be in a long-term situation. And that's where the no limit soldiers come in, right? That's what that's what the no limit soldiers do right there, right? What they do is it's like they are women who are kind of damaged by the fuck boys, so they said they wanted to become fuck girls. It's like the female version of a fuck boy. So she'll come into situations and move kind of like that. And if you are not aware, some women they spend their time trying to catch guys who give them the vibes or the energy of the men who hurt them, so that they can repay those men, because they spend enough time in hookup culture to deaden their emotions to sexuality, and they completely separate sex from emotions, sometimes through prostitution, sometimes through casual sex, sometimes through repetitive cheating or getting cheated on, to where they're kind of just in a place of, you know what, I'm gonna flip the script and try to be like a man. And if you're a man who doesn't have enough self-esteem, or you don't have enough self-confidence, or you're too fixated on a woman doing what she says, or too fixated on actually wanting to form a connection or get to know a woman, then oftentimes these type of situations won't work out. They're working out because you're only fucking, right? Just because a woman's having sex with you does not mean she respects you as a man. A no limit soldier is the type of woman who does not care about that, right? And the thing is this: as a man who may be upfront and honest about your sexual intentions, you know, what you have to also understand is that sometimes in these scenarios, something that can very well happen, right, is that a woman may view you as automatically a fuckboy if you're honest about your sexual intentions. So a woman who has no limit soldier tendencies may tap into that. There's some women who they'll be fucking with you. They're gonna be down for the team. They're gonna be down for the program. They're gonna be a team player. They down for you. They want to learn from you. They want to see where things are gonna go. They're interested in you, and they're willing to campaign for the position. The no limit soldiers game oftentimes is going to be more so to fuck with you. If it's good, she's gonna be coming back, but she's in at odds with herself, because if the dick is too good, she might want to cut you off because you're threatening her ability to think logically and clearly. So her game will be a lot of the times to run a bait and switch, to get caught up in that motion a little bit, to try to catch you up in your own ego being stroked by how much she validates you. And then after she feels like you've expressed yourself and opened yourself up to being vulnerable to her, that's when she will lose interest, because the challenge has been conquered. What No Limit Soldiers do is they try to pump and dump a man's emotions the way that a man pumps and dumps a woman's body. And I know that sounds funny to say, but some men are not aware of that, because some men, every single woman they had sex with was a woman who liked them, right? And because every single woman they had sex with was a woman who liked them or wanted a relationship, they assume that women are unable to separate sex from emotions. And this is not always true, right?
Yeah.
It's always true.
Some women are pimps, man. And some dudes gotta understand, like, there's cold-hearted dudes, like there's cold-hearted chicks, and man, you know what I'm saying? You gotta understand, bro, it's a cold game. For real, for real. And you gotta be up on game, or you know you're gonna get played like a lame. That's it.
Yeah, and I'll say this right here too, is because the thing is this right here. Different men have different experiences with how well they've been treated in the past, what type of treatment they're used to. And if you're not used to a certain type of treatment, then you may be unaware that the bare minimum of what a woman who has a little bit of sense, how she treats you, her bare minimum of how she treat a man, a woman who has a little bit of sense or a little bit of game, for a man who's never been taken seriously by a woman at all, that's going to be the greatest thing since sliced bread to him.
You ain't lying. And it's going to put him in an emotional state that's going to prevent him from self-improving. In fact, most times when guys get in that type of state, they start hitting a plateau, and then they usually take a little bit of a decline, especially if you're around a female and you see the quality of your own personal health go down, or you see like the circumstances in your life, how they was better before, but since she's been in your life, the quality of your life has went down. You need to get out of there, my boy.
Yeah.
You can't deal with somebody that's damaging you on a physical, spiritual, emotional level, or especially if it's fucking up your finances. Like, definitely get the fuck out of there if it's fucking up your money. You know what I'm saying?
And on some real stuff, this brings me to the third member of the toxic femininity triad, is the Topanga, right?
Okay.
Now, the Topanga is a very interesting one, right? Because
I done met a thing.
Yeah, because we've all watched Boy Meets World growing up, right? And this is the woman who comes to you with the intellectual fairness, healthy communication, all this type of shit, and that's what she's on. That's she's on, but she's really repressing certain aspects of her desire for dominance in a man.
You ain't lying though.
Yeah. So when they do that, it's still in there. Now, some women, they're going to have the ability to eventually integrate with you to where you can take that place for them. But for some women, they'll never allow you to be in that space with them. So it's just a ticking time bomb of when she comes across a man where you pour enough into her cup, because it comes from an insecure place of sexual shame. But when you've poured enough into her cup for her to finally feel good about herself, if she doesn't feel like pouring that back into you and getting into that submissive energy with you and allowing you to dominate her, then that woman is typically just going to do that with another man. And it's probably going to be a dude who she already sees as not shit. Like, that's just how it works, right? And it's not always the case that he's not shit, but that's what she's going to think, right? So she devalues sexual attraction and compatibility. Anytime you hear a woman talk about how dick ain't important, you know,
that's a red flag, bro, because we both know how important, like, we know that dick is important. It's very important, because you have to understand, guys, bro, like, in the long scope of it, even when you go back to caveman era, you go back this in history, bro. What is the two things that is steering life? You having somebody to procreate with,
and you have some money to stabilize that life, either by yourself or with others. So by that own definition, you know what I'm saying? What do you need to stabilize a woman? You need income, you need money, and she needs to feel sexually gratified on a spiritual, emotional, and sexual level and feel satisfied. And it has to be a certain level of, it's not always peaceful either. There has to be some, to some degree, a little bit of friction, some problems. Because if it's not and it's always good, trust, she's going to get bored, bro. And she's going to leave.
And you know what? And on some real shit, sometimes the way I like to think about it is like this right here, right? Let's say it's a scenario where you're dealing with a woman. It's like you don't have to lie to her to create a little bit of tension. You don't have to do that. And sexual tension is a great way to have some tension. But sometimes you need to extend it beyond the bedroom too. It's like sometimes what you can do is just simply give her instruction, give her tasks. She needs to be doing something. Idle hands do the devil's work. If she's always in a position where you take all responsibility off her at all, there's nothing that she can do wrong. It's just like everything's happy all the time, and you're not pushing her to grow in some capacity, then that woman's not going to trust your opinion, because how can she respect you as a leader if you aren't even giving her a direction to walk in? And a lot of men don't think about that. It's just like, yes, she can have her own goals, but you can benefit to those goals. You can say, okay, cool. Well, I can help you with these goals, and this is how these goals I'm helping you with can benefit me or not, right? But there has to be some type of leadership or guidance that you're offering. If you ain't got nothing to teach a woman, you ain't got nothing to offer. But at the same time, think about it like this. There's hierarchies of pleasure in life, right? Sometimes how situation can go is like this. Whatever gives you the greatest physical / emotional sensation is going to be the authority in your life. Now, what I'm saying about it is this. If that is aligned with something that also gives you direction and also gives you a certain level of peace or connects you to people in a positive and a healthy manner, then that's going to be something that helps stabilize your relationships, right? And help stabilize you. But if that is something that is negative, then it becomes an addiction. So like, let's say it's drugs. If the best pleasure you get out of life is doing drugs, then it's gonna, you can try to do the right thing for a little while, but when you get frustrated, you run right back to it, no matter how positive it was for you. Now, dick is a gift, and and dick can also be a drug of sorts, right? It releases those dopamines, it releases that oxytocin. Sex, what it does and what it can do for a woman when she experiences on a high level is sometimes it can shift and take the place of certain things that she may rather do that may sometimes be harmful, they may be helpful. But when there's leadership attached to access to whatever satisfies her, where there's standards that are attached to it, that's where you have something called penis power, right?
Yeah, positive. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you can use the dick as positive reinforcement. And
because here's the thing. Here's the thing, guys, man. As much as you want to think that your sex isn't going to be important, I want you to look at the perspective like this. Think about church, and think about most husbands that are married to their wives at church. And if you notice, you can already tell. You don't have to ask. You don't have to ask them or nothing like that. You can already tell that most of those marriages, right, are sexually unsatisfied. All for real. You don't have to ask no questions. You could just see, based off most dynamics, most of the time, when you go into a church, you see a couple that's been married 30, 40 years. Of course, there's exceptions. Of course, there's great married couples. But we're talking about the ones, right, who are together, yet the sex isn't in the relationship. And so the woman holds a certain resentment toward the man because the man doesn't understand his position and his leadership in being there to please her, stimulate her on that mental level and that sexual level to really, and then guide her from that into something. Most times, guys who marry women and go to church and stuff, a lot of those guys, their wives most often are usually the bosses. Not all guys, but there are some there are some relationships and marriages, and I'm just talking about the instances where the marriages have the woman having the hierarchy, having the control. That man doesn't know how to lead, so she'll never give him any leverage or any control in the relationship. Why? Because she holds it, and women don't want that type of power over a man. She wants you to wield it over her so that she can become stronger in certain other ways and live in her femininity, which is her peace.
And that's just nothing but facts, because at the end of the day, you can see it's like sex is a band-aid. Like, it's not a cure, it's not everything, but it's a band-aid. What does that mean? It's like, what I mean by being a band-aid is, if your sex ain't good, it's kind of hard, and if it's not frequent, good, and something that's compatible, it's going to be more difficult to gauge the polarity of your relationship, where the energy is. Also, it's going to be more difficult because the standard of how high that polarity has to be for you to be okay is going to be too low, to where she may drop into a danger zone and you don't even recognize it. And also, it helps you cover up, get close enough and bond with one another, close enough and long enough for you as the man, the one who's planning things, who's setting your program out, to be able to listen to her, to sort out what the situation is, see what can be fixed, what you're not willing to fix, and to take care of that on your own. And you can include her some in the process, and you can give her some instructions along the way, but you sort the situation out. The sex is more so to keep you on the same page, because when you get off of that same page, you start to speak completely different languages. Like they say, boys are from Mars and girls from Venus. It's like you're speaking at her with logic, and she's speaking at you with emotions, and neither one of you are understanding each other. And if you decide that you're going to speak 100% just her language, then you have to understand that agreeing with her is what she really wants from you. So you're going to have to submit yourself to her emotions. It's like if a woman doesn't feel strongly enough about you emotionally and sexually, then her emotions start to creep into being what leads the relationship, right? If a woman highly sexually desires you, right, then that's not the only thing, because trust and respecting you as a man is also a thing, but those kind of go hand in hand in ways people don't often talk about, right? But if a woman highly respects you, highly desires you, then her emotions for you are going to be stronger than her emotions towards her social programming and biases. So you can still address certain issues, you can still take care of certain things, but she's going to be able to go to you, and she still wants that milk, right? She still wants that daddy dick. She still wants the time with you. She still wants to sit up under you. She still wants to listen to you, even though something may be bothering her. But when a woman is dealing with you because you're giving her emotional validation, social validation, financial investment, then not agreeing with her is taking away the emotional validation. Therefore, you've severed the transaction, and therefore she no longer feels the desire to reciprocate sexually. And then once the sex dies in your relationship, you're always one argument away from a breakup, unless you simp.
Yeah, you ain't lying. You is not lying.
Like, listen, once sex dies in your relationship, you're one argument away from a breakup, unless you're willing to simp and bend and give her extra validation to make her feel even more comfortable, which gets you nowhere really closer to being in a leading dominant position with the woman that you're dealing with.
Of course, because it's just lifting you away from your purpose and what you're supposed to be doing in that moment. You all, you're over here, concerned about her and what she got going on, and you're supposed to be worried about over here about some money or an opportunity or something that's going to build value in your life. I've realized, a lot of times guys have to understand, some guys like to insert logic at times when a girl's in an emotional state, which, what I'm saying, if you know what you're doing, okay, cool. But like, if you're interceding whatever she's feeling or thinking to say something, right? And say you say some dumb shit, you're going to set her off, or that's going to cause an argument of some sort. you have to know, you have to gauge her emotions and understand her as a woman when you're talking to the term of it, right? It's about understanding and learning how to shadow mirror the right course of action for the right reasons.
No, that's true, man. And the thing about the different languages is like it's an internal fight, right? It's an internal fight that a lot of women go through, which is where it's this fight between, do I want to stick with what society tells me in the social programming, or do I want to pick up the program of this man? And by being solid in who you are as a man, good dick does play a part in it. I'm sorry, it does. It's not everything. It's definitely not everything, but it plays a part. Because let's say your program is that you're not going to jump directly into a relationship with a woman unless you're engaging in sexual activities with her, right? Now, that's just being logical about saying that being compatible on both sides is important before you commit yourself and lock yourself down to monogamy. Now, if you ain't got good dick, how you gonna do that unless you're tricking?
You feel me?
And if you're tricking,
fucking
how
right.
can you set your standards about how that woman treats you? And how is she going to be able to maintain that treatment if you aren't giving her the exact same thing that you led with?
Exactly. Like, I think guys have a misconception, and the misconception is, right, some of y'all guys will get with a girl right at the beginning, and then y'all change y'all behavior after y'all bag them and stuff, or you'll get emotionally in your, you know what I'm saying, in your feelings and stuff like that, and then next thing you know, the relationship's going downhill, man. And it's like, you have to learn how to discern these situations, man. You have to learn how to not sin. You have to learn how to just, you know what I'm saying, be a communicator, but know what you want, man. Just know what you want, bro. Know what you want out of the situation, out of her, out of your life, where you going. If you don't know any of these things, if you don't know where you're going, if you don't even know what your career path is or where you're really trying to go, I would suggest being in a relationship with anybody when you haven't done the work on yourself to know who you truly are as an individual. Because you're just going to end up meeting somebody that is more willing to hurt you because you haven't learned enough about yourself to protect yourself from yourself.
And that's some real shit, man. And I say this right here too. There are some people who are some exceptions to this, but
True.
Most exceptions get tried real hard. It's like if you are a young couple, you know what I mean? Like if you met, you were young, and you two both had the ability to not hurt one another too bad, and you were able to grow together and get certain shit right, then some of the stuff will work a little bit different. You know what I mean? Because a lot of men who do take the mindset that we're talking about right now will be men who already done been through either hurting someone or getting hurt, you know what I mean, at a young age, going through high school, college, early adulthood, sometimes middle age, and you're already past the point where you're supposed to have all your shit together when you meet the woman. So dealing from a position of power there is a little bit different, you know what I mean? And also in these particular scenarios, if you're already getting certain shit together first, then chances are you're not going to trust a woman and who just comes around after you've gotten everything together. If a woman's been there since the beginning, you know what I mean, she down for you, then you also have to understand that if she was there when you didn't have anything and she helps you build whatever it is that you building, that I would say this: I wouldn't marry a woman who isn't worth alimony, right? It's like, even if it don't work out, you put in so much work in the gym. You was with me shooting in the gym. So you know what? You know,
Right.
I marry you with the understanding that, you know, if it goes left, I may have to be responsible for that.
Yeah. You feel me? And that's real talk. You know what I'm saying? So, you have to, like I said, you got to treat people the way, you got to be a good person, but also do what's best for you in the situation.
Yeah. You know, a lot of this stuff right here is about how you deal with situations where you just met someone. They've already been out there. You've already been out there. and it's not like you're two fresh, innocent individuals who've never gone through shit. You have to know how to go through certain situations and vet people. And things are a little bit different now. And as you get older, things get a little bit different. Beyond the age group where we're in, things change even more. So it's just certain things should just be conscious and aware of, right? But I think we had a good time with this one right here. Just breaking this stuff down, blurting out, having these conversations, touch on a lot of different topics. I don't know if you got any closing statements yourself, man, but man, I think this went decent for the first time. I was trying out these different pictures and banners and colors and different stuff like that. And
yeah, man, it looks good.
Good, no doubt, bro. Hey, so I'm gonna talk to you later, my dude.
All right, man. All right.